Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 3 here of Coalition League's summer split. We are going to be ending the day here in the Demacia division, with Glacial Omen versus Imagine Wagons. Now, both these teams might sound familiar, but they have changed up significantly since last week. On the blue side, we've got Glacial Omen. And Glacial Omen used to be a team in the silver division. They've now actually moved up to the gold division with a part of their roster here. So in the top lane, newcomer Zero Zen RL. In the jungle, Chaotic Obsidian. Mid lane, Ishan. ADC position, another newcomer, Arizona. And for support, Willow Haven. On the red side, it's going to be Imagine Wagons, and they have been in the Demacia division since day 1 here, but they have had a bit of a change. Their bot lane from last week, Finny and Heal Slowat, off to their own team now, SFAD. So in the top lane, it's going to be XX Wolf once again. In the jungle, Granddaddy Jax. Mid lane, Wild Goose Chase. And in the bot lane, it's going to be Monomania V2 there for ADC and Spenlow for support. And the picks and bans have been completed here for both teams. So on the blue side for Glacial Omen, they're going to ban out the Darius, Warwick, Rakan, Ornn, and Shen. So a lot of emphasis into that top lane here. They want to make sure XX Wolf doesn't pop off. And last week, XX Wolf did struggle a bit in lane as well. So perhaps just targeting that top lane a little bit, going to try and keep XX Wolf down. On the side of Imagine Wagons, they're going to lose a ban because Monomania is an E-sub here. So their bans are going to be Morgana, Syndra, Vladimir, and Irelia. So in contrast to Glacial Omen, they're focusing the mid lane here onto Ishan. And Ishan has shown himself to be quite a powerful threat for his team. Does play really well on those scaling champions, as well as the Galio that he's pulled out multiple times now. In terms of picks, Glacial Omen gonna first pick that Galio once again for Ishan. Will give him the mobility to get all over the map. Oh, pardon me, it's not going to be for Ishan because they've drafted a Jarvan, Ezreal, Wukong, Cassiopeia. So it's going to be the Cassiopeia for Ishan here, and that's going to be that late game scaling mid laner. Tons of damage out of him there if he can stay safe. And for the rest of the picks, a lot of variability, possibilities to go into different lanes here. Most likely it will be the Jarvan for in the jungle. We rarely see J4 anywhere outside of the jungle here. And they've got a Wukong and Galio. Now, Galio used to be played support, has not really been in the support role very recently, but could still function there. So most likely that will be Willow Haven on that Galio in the support role, and that will leave the Wukong for Zero Zen RL in the top lane. Compositionally, this is going to be a really strong AoE team fight composition. Will serve to try and keep Ishan nice and safe, box everyone else in with the AoE knock-up from Wukong, from the heroic entrance and taunt from Galio, as well as the Cataclysm there from Jarvan. So really strong engaged team here. And on the red side, Imagine Wagons going to drop themselves Vi, Thresh, Echo, Ashe, and Set. So we are going to see the sets for XX Wolf in the top lane there, the Echo in the mid lane, and Vi in the jungle. A lot of heavy dive here. Set can showstopper his way into the backline. Echo, Assassin just diving in, can potentially pop Ishan before he can get rolling in the fights. And the assault and battery from Vi will make Granddaddy Jax invincible. Will be unstoppable diving that backline there. So looking like they're putting a lot of emphasis on trying to catch the Ezreal, catch the Cassiopeia, take the damage out. And we'll have to see if that works for them here, because they can probably only get one of the two. Both Ezreal and Cassiopeia skill amazingly well into the late game. We'll be able to pump out a lot of damage. And on the side of Imagine Wagons, we're going to have to see if Monomania can play that Ashe safely here. Ashe has been picked quite a bit here in the Coalition League across all the divisions, actually. Noxus, Demacia, Silver. Everybody seems to be playing the Ashe a lot. And we've seen it to somewhat mixed effect here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrows have been amazing for teams looking for that initiate from anywhere on the map, really. But in terms of the damage output, if the Ashe can stay safe, if she can kite around the fight, then she can definitely be a massive tool for her team and output damage, almost hitting a hyper carry status towards the end of the game. But on the other hand, Ashe, very immobile champion, and we've seen a lot of the Ashes get caught out, get bursted immediately. and that just makes them very, very ineffective there. So we'll have to see which way this one goes here for Monomania, especially with such a dive-heavy comp on the side of Glacial Omen. And with that, we can head over to the Summoner's Rift here with both teams coming online. We're seeing some pings already coming down from the side of Imagine Wagons, potentially looking for an invade on that bottom side of the map. And it looks like Glacial Omen gonna actually mirror them on the opposite side here. Ashan splitting off, potentially just gonna get that ward down, will be able to spot out the invade if they do that, and then they themselves will be able to invade the top side with quite a bit of confidence there, knowing that they won't catch out Imagine Wagons. And I love to see these level 1 actions here from teams. A lot of times teams very passive, just looking for that 5-point defense there. Don't want to risk anything. But even though we don't see a fight breakout, I do like to see proactivity coming out of the teams here. Both teams just gonna invade, get some deep vision down, and Ishan, having had the ward down in the tri-bush, will know that there's a full 5-man invade going down. He's not gonna have to rejoin his team up there. In fact, will be able to just start mid, try and make sure that he can see a little bit better if they do cut across, hit towards that top side there. And Arizona Willowhaven gonna hit their way back down to that bot side, and this could potentially be a 3-buff start here for Glacial Omen, which will be absolutely massive. J4 already one of the strongest early game junglers. If he can get that lead, keep Granddaddy Jax down, we'll be able to do a lot. Now XX Wolf has to be careful, will walk into the 2 there. Gonna take a lot of damage, but Red Buff accidentally got hit as well, and it's gonna do some damage onto Zero Zen. XX Wolf gonna be forced back to his base there. Will be late to start his lane, but Zero Zen will be late to his lane as well. And the Red Buff has reset here. That's gonna be a nightmare for Glacial Omen. What looked like such a good start is instead gonna backfire here, as now Chaotic Obsidian gonna be really slow to start this. Instead, Granddaddy Jax gonna be able to hit back over, find himself the red buff as well, and that's gonna be the advantage in the jungle, going to Imagine Wagons because of that initial pull on the red buff there. XX Wolf also not going to lose out too much here. Will go to lane rather low on health, but will only miss really that 1 minion, so will still be fairly even. The base regen stats on set also absolutely massive. With the Duran shield, will be able to sustain himself back up here. So a bit of a catastrophic start for Glacial Omen, but thankfully, like I was saying, J4 really strong early jungle. Even if he falls behind a little bit, it's perfectly fine. He can still look for ganks in his lanes. And speaking of the lanes here, if we look across the lanes, Glacial Omen really gonna have strength in that top side, but their mid lane, their bot lane, probably not going to be quite as strong. Ezreal does take a bit of time to scale out here. Does have the Galio support though, and Galio very strong in the early game. His base skills have very high base damage, doesn't need to scale up. Can fight toe-to-toe against that Thresh, against the Ashe there. But in the mid lane though, the Cassiopeia, definitely one of the strongest late game carries, but up against an Echo will have to play a bit passively here in the early game. Watch the mana. In the mid game also will have to be careful. Does have the range advantage at least up against the melee range from Wild Goose Chase there, so might be able to just use the autos to harass and keep things even. And we do see here Chaotic Obsidian looking for a gank in the mid lane here, waiting for Wild Goose Chase to overextend, and it might happen soon because that mid wave is being pushed out quite a bit here, but unfortunately he doesn't have the patience. Will show there, and Wild Goose Chase gonna back off right away to safety. Was shaded away from the top side there. And this time here is going to cost Chaotic Obsidian because Granddaddy Jack's already a level up. And Vi does have solid ganks before 6, but at 6 she really comes online with that Assault and Battery, able to just train down anybody she targets. It's a point and click ultimate there, so it will be a guaranteed CC on whichever target. Doesn't matter how slippery an Ezreal is, Assault and Battery will still get you there. And somehow in this bot lane, Monomania doing amazingly well. Already has about a 9 CS lead in the bot lane just from laning. Really surprising. In top lane, we are seeing a little bit of a fight as XX Wolf hitting level 4 first. Going to take advantage of that small level lead he had to push in 0 Zen. And we can see already that the initial loss of health, the disadvantage he had from that has almost been completely nullified. He's going pretty evenly against 0 Zen right now. And Granddaddy Jack's looking to throw a gank up into that top lane, but it's so well warded here. The pink ward in the river bush, as well as the scuttle, which just despawned here. Absolutely massive. But bot lane, Chaotic Obsidian going to return the favor, look for a gank, and they are going to be able to find Spenlo for first blood, and that's going to go over to Chaotic Obsidian, which is going to be absolutely massive. But they do have to be careful, because we do see Wild Goose Chase showing up here. A good knock up from Willowhaven to stop the engage for now in Arizona. Chaotic Obsidian and Willowhaven going to be able to walk themselves out there to safety. Ishan, meanwhile, in the mid lane, opting not to roam. Just gonna shove this out, continue farming it. He wants to be able to get over that early game hump as fast as he can, but does have to be careful, because Granddaddy Jackson and Wild Goose Chase are coming in from the back, and they do manage to get on him. He has the flash, will use it, but the ignite is good. Petrifying Gaze just in time as he hits 6, and will he be able to survive? Yes, he does, with just about 50 health there. Well played from Ishan, and that level 6 spike came in just in time. The Petrifying Gaze able to keep Wild Goose Chase and Granddaddy Jax from going in after him. Just one more auto would have seen him dead there. Now Granddaddy Jax has to be careful. Is going to get caught in the Raptor Pit by Chaotic Obsidian. Going to use the Smite just to heal himself up here. And going to flash over the wall, but Obsidian going to follow. He's looking for this. Wild Goose Chase isn't going to help him at all, because he's low on health and mana. And Granddaddy Jax able to limp away there. 20 health mid lane here, just living on a knife's edge. And we see the flash from Spenlo as Willowhaven was catching him up. Did not want to get collapsed on by 3. That's going to be flashes blown from quite a few people here. Chaotic's flash is going to be down. Granddaddy Jax and Spenlo, both their flashes down as well, and are going to be forced back. And that's going to give all the priority on the Ocean Drake here to the side of Glacial Omen. And as a first Drake, this is as good as it gets. So Glacial Omen going to be more than happy to pick this one up. It's going to give their mid and bot lane that safety in lane sustain to be able to farm it up, get over that hump. And speaking of that hump, both Arizona and Ishan now have begun stacking their tiers, have picked up very nice and early tiers, pre 7 minutes here. So we'll be able to stack it up incredibly quickly. And these tier items right now are some of the most efficient items in the game. Once they're fully stacked, they give quite a bit of stats, both on the Mira mana as well as the Seraph's Embrace there. And that's even without their individual passive. So definitely really, really strong. And that's one of the things that's catapulted Ezreal here to sort of meta status. He's one of the most played champions, most played ADCs at the high elos in the professional level. And one of those reasons is precisely because he builds that mana mune, that mirror mana, right into his build as a core item, as well as the safety and the way he can kite around. Now top lane, XX Wolf going to showstopper 0 Zen, not quite under turret, so he won't take any turret shots, but Wild Goose Chase is here as well. The knockup coming from 0 Zen will it be enough? Most likely not. He's going to have the flashes, or he might go down here, but no. The knockup, the second knockup was enough to stop Wild Goose Chase. Will be able to get to safety there. Really, really well played from him, and he continues to dominate that top lane. 51 CS there, so definitely still able to push XX Wolf around bot lane. A good flash taunt from Willowhaven. The ignite's down. He just needs one more auto. He's going to get death sentence under the turret here, but it's going to be a true shot barrage instead, taking him up. And Monomania, a good flash to dodge out the Justice Punch, and will be able to kite around, get the double kill. It's the volley picking Arizona up, and in the 1v1, he can just auto attack to his heart's content, and that's going to be 2 for 1 in the bot lane. Both kills going the way of Monomania, and that is absolutely going to swing the bot lane around. Well played from him. And that wasn't even with the BF sword. A lot of times we do see a bit of a item dip here from Ezreal's as they do build that tier, and tier doesn't give them any combat stats, and usually that's when we see them go down. And it happened here, but that was a Vamp Scepter Ashe, not even a BF sword. And you can already just see how strong Ashe can be if she can be healed for, can be protected for a while. And they are not, Ashe now, Monomania is past the level 6, has Enchanted Crystal Arrow available. We did see it used in that last fight. And once Spendo hits his 6 as well, they will have a significant ability to engage. Now at the Herald, Glacial Omen does secure themselves the Herald, but it's going to be 0 Zen potentially going down here. Spendo just looking for that last auto, but a good flash and the vision play there. Beautiful Goose Chase sat in the middle of 3, will go down. Now Spenlo having to try and survive, but the poison going to take down. That's a double kill for Ishan now. So both teams, their carries are starting to stack. Both of them picking up a double kill. 2 on Ishan, 2 on Monomania. And imagine Wagons just struggling a little bit there. While Glacial is looking a bit out of sync. Diving in a little too aggressively before he could get support. And they didn't have any vision bot lane though. Monomania and Arizona are going to trade out here. Beautiful Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land after the Arcane Shift. And it's going to be a flash out from Arizona to keep him alive for now. But it will be down for the next fight. And a beautiful stun here under the turret from Wild Goose Chase. It's going to bring Chaotic Obsidian real low. Will not be enough to kill him just yet, but will be able to stop the push for now in that mid lane. And we do see a teleport now coming down into the bot lane. That's going to be from Zero Zen. Can he find anything? No. And now he gets a knock up. The teleport matched here by XX Wolf. The exhaust now coming down to slow him down, stopping him from re-engaging. And a beautiful true damage from XX Wolf will bring the entirety of the bot lane low. And now it's going to be Willowhaven trying to get out. He can't because the slow from Ashe is going to continuously be applied. He doesn't have the flash available this time. And without the flash, without the ability to Justice Punch away, there's no running from that slow. Imagine Wagons firing back, reacting really well to that teleport into the bot lane. And Zero Zen just a little unfortunate here, unable to find himself those little leads he's been looking for, able to win in lane, but besides that he's not been able to transition over. Chaotic Obsidian not spending attention to that top lane, and when he teleported to that bot lane looking to get some pressure, unfortunately just not quite able to do so because Monomania and Spendle spotted the teleport early, positioned really well, and XX Wolf responding right away as well. The timing of that was a little off as well from the dragon spawn because it will be coming out about 15 seconds, but there was enough time for everybody to go back to base and come back into lane here, so we'll have to see how this one goes. I do expect both teams to be contesting this, and Willowhaven has to be careful. Just hit level 6, is a little under leveled here, might not want to fight this. Monomania up a level in the bot lane, but Arizona just catching up as well. And a lot of action, a lot of focus being thrown into this bot lane here. Lots of ganks, lots of teleports. It will be a key matchup here, but Imagine Wagons has to remember there is still that hyper scaling Cassiopeia in the mid lane. If they spend too much resources down into the bot lane there, Ishan could very well be instead the late game hyper carry to win all the game here. XX Wolf having to flash out. He's really low, is taken down now. His shield gonna go down as well, and he has to be careful. He's gonna base in this bush, but if Zero goes in, this could be a kill, and there we go. Kill for Zero Zen, finally finding one for himself in that top lane. And while that was happening, Glacial Omen just rotated straight to the Inferno as expected, because it looks like Granddaddy Jax here has actually disconnected and is not in the game. So they were able to pick themselves up the Inferno with zero contest, with no jungler to contest it. And this is going to make it really difficult for Imagine Wagons to be down a person for V5. It's even worse when Granddaddy Jax has a 3-level deficit, does not have Assault and Battery unlocked, so even if he does manage to reconnect here, it will still be a massive uphill climb for the side of Imagine Wagons. And once more we see Chaotic Obsidian in that bot lane, looking for a gank down there. They keep throwing resource after resource, but to be fair, he doesn't need to go mid. Ishan's found himself a huge lead now in terms of CS after that double kill. Has already completed the Archangel's staff, so we'll be able to start that stacking. It's already giving him some ability damage as well, increasing his damage in lane. And Zero Zen, as you can see, is winning the 1v1, was able to find a kill onto XX Wolf. So Chaotic Obsidian doesn't really need to spend the attention into the other lanes. It will be great for him to pick up some kills and assists, but it's not necessary. Instead, just trying to help out that bot lane there, where Monomania seems to have begun taking over that lane with 3 kills with the level lead. Despite Ishan winning that mid lane, still does have to be careful, because that is still an Echo, is still an assassin, can turn things around and pump out a lot of damage. Has the Proto Belt completed as well right now, so extremely mobile for Wild Goose Chase. And looking for the dive here, we'll put the Ignite down, but the Flash Petrifying Gaze, can he kill him? Yes, he can, because when that noxious, the grounding effect there is out from Ishan. You cannot chrono break your way back out, and that's going to see Wild Goose Chase go down on an attempted dive. Now bot lane, Chaotic Obsidian going in, will get death sentence, but it's Willowhaven tanking it up right now. Cataclysm going to come down, and Spenlow did that. Chaotic Obsidian will still go down to the turret as the stopwatch comes out from Willowhaven to drop the aggro, and they're looking, will be able to find a double kill here for Arizona onto Monomania. Not quite a shutdown, but still being able to find the kill is going to be massive for them. A 2-for-1 trade, and that's one trade that Glacial Omen will be more than happy to take here. And Monomania was up a little bit in terms of items at that point, but still losing the fight in a 3v2. Played it as well as they could have in that context, but unfortunately just no jungle pressure. Granddaddy Jax has respawned here, reconnected, pardon me here, but he has to try and farm his way back into the game because he's really far down below even the supports in levels. Now gonna look for a gank into the top lane, but XX will not there, and he doesn't want to be caught 1v1 against the solo laner. And with that, 2 turrets suddenly down on the side of Imagine Wagons, both the mid and top lane turret. First turret going down in the mid lane to Ishan. So suddenly a gold lead here ballooning for Glacial Omen. They're going to be up about 5,500 gold right now. So going to be really nice for them here. And with the hyper scaling from the Cassiopeia, with the Ezreal who needs to get over that mid-game hump, being in the lead right now is going to be absolutely massive for them. And so far, Chaotic Obsidian and Zero Zen, the ones to be very proactive here, looking for ganks, looking for plays across the map, have been managing to secure themselves the Dragon. Herald is on the table for now. I didn't quite see where the first Herald was dropped, but it was picked up by Glacial Omen, so I am expecting Glacial Omen to once again make moves towards that Herald before Baron spawns. And Wild Goose Chase with his turret down right now in the mid lane, it's not exactly a disadvantage from him. The short lane against the Cassiopeia was hurting him a little bit. He had problems dealing with the range, but now that his turret's down, he's unlocked to start roaming the map here. Can look to get kills in that bot lane. Find the squishy Ezreal. Wukong in the top lane, also very squishy. Building Blade of the Ruined King, followed by the Ninja Tabbies. So no magic resistance. Wild Goose Chase can go through him like a hot knife through butter if he decides to gank there, but instead, as expected, the Herald going to get picked up once again by Glacial Omen. They've got a lock on this, and Zero Zen potentially... No, it's going to be Ishan this time into the bot lane, and that means the gank is going to be that much more potent. And look at the burst coming out of them there. The Sheen completed here for Arizona, and that's the mid-game hump going to be somewhat mitigated as the Sheen damage absolutely massive. The Mana Immune continuing to be stacked, and the damage from Ishan as well. They just burst it down right away, but Willowhaven has to be careful. Will get caught by 3 over the wall here. Spenlow going in, will miss the play. Petrifying Gaze, not going to find the stun, just the slow, but it will be good enough for now. Granddaddy Jax absolutely melts it, but Wild Goose Chase just going to hunt down Arizona, doing the job that he was meant to do as an assassin. Now going to try and look to find his way out, but Ishan going to be there, flag and drag to close the gap as well. They just need one more auto. Can they find it? Yes, they can. It's going to be on Ishan there. Zero Zen teleporting in, but will not be able to join the bulk of the fight. Just going to be there to corral Wild Goose Chase in, and that should be the 3rd Drake of the game, going the way of Glacial Omen. And we did see Imagine Wagons. It looked promising for them at the start when they found the pick there on to Willowhaven, absolutely just melting him right away. But unfortunately, in the 4v4, in the 3v3 with Granddaddy Jax, that's still a liability for now. And he's just desperately trying to farm his way back up. Couldn't even really get into the fight. Didn't even use the Assault and Battery there because he was just so low right off the bat and forced out of that fight. And they will be clearing out the vision around the dragon, but it'll be just a little too late here. The Drake already did go down, and Glacial Omen at soul point by 19 minutes. Absolutely great position to be in for them. And if you are the side of Imagine Wagons right now, looking to come back into the game, normally you'd want to just stall if you're behind, but that is not a good idea against the Cassiopeia, against the Ezreal. At this point, instead, what they kind of need to do is figure out where their strong lanes are, leverage it. But Spenlow getting caught right now in the bot lane, pardon me, will get absolutely melted. And now there's 4 there. Ishan waiting in the wings as well. And if Granddaddy Jax or Wild Goose Chase are not careful, they're going to walk right into this. We already see Wild Goose Chase here. Will just barely turn around, dodge out the Petrifying Gaze. But he's extremely low. The poison taking down. Can they find him? Yes! One more Poison Fang's going to do it. He did not Chrono Break away because Chrono Breaking would have put him square in the middle of Glacial Omen. And that's going to be Wild Goose Chase going down. Beautiful ambush set up by Glacial Omen. And unfortunately, that's what Imagine Wagons needs to do. They need to not get caught out in those ambushes. They need to be the ones setting up those ambushes here because they are behind. They still have a lot of single target damage. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow can lock people down from far. Heroic Entrance now coming down. First one we've seen this game will melt Ishan. The Cataclysm trying to catch Monomania, but good flash to get him out of danger there. They will lose their last remaining outer turret, but will not lose anyone else. And now Zero Zen going in onto XX Wolf will get showstoppered under the turret. He's going to flash in looking for the additional damage, but will not be able to take XX Wolf down. And that's going to be his flash down for the next little while. And that's again going to be the mid-inner turret going down here for the side of Imagine Wagons. They have yet to find themselves a single turret as well, a single objective really right now. They've got some kills, but they need to find some objectives. And unfortunately, now that Herald's gone, Baron's spawn, we're at past the 20-minute mark here. They are going to struggle to be able to find something to trade. If Herald was still up, they could trade a dragon for a herald, find some gold from towers, or get themselves a buff. But now that Baron's up, that's not something they can trade easily. They don't have enough damage yet. Yes, there is the Blade of the Ruined King for Monomania, but the rest of his team doesn't, and the Blade of the Ruined King on XX Wolf, pardon me, but that won't be fast enough to shred that Baron down. And if they get caught at Baron, that could be an ace, and that could spell game. So Imagine Wagons gonna have to try and find ambushes, really. That's their only way back into the game, and we'll have to see if they can do that. They do have the tools for it. They do have the single target lockdown, but Granddaddy Jax once again looking like he might get caught out here. Beautiful flash, and he does manage to dash away the lantern to secure the fadeaway there. Well played from Imagine Wagons to stem the bleeding there, to make sure they don't continue losing people to these collapses. And we do see right now both teams setting up potentially for Baron. They are starting to clear out the vision on the side of Glacial Omen, and the vision game begins. They do have a little bit, did spot out the bulk of Imagine Wagons nearby. On the side of Imagine Wagons, they still have plenty of vision here on the Baron itself. The scuttle is still up, so they will be able to see if it does get started up here. But within their own jungle, they have a lack of vision. We'll have to be careful. Granddaddy Jack's gonna miss the engage there, and that's gonna leave him vulnerable. But a good lantern from Spenlow will be more than enough to get him out. Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming out. Willowhaven gonna be the one to tank this up, but he's tanky enough to survive for now. Showstopper dragging him even further away from the team. The taunt comes down. Can he get out? No, because Granddaddy Jax is there. It's gonna be XX will picking that one up, but Granddaddy Jax getting melted right away, and now Monomania just kiting back, putting out the spacing. Spenlow will go down, but trading his life for the carries is gonna be worth it. Unfortunately, that does leave them a man down here, and the dragon is about to spawn. That's going to be Mountain Soul here for Glacial Omen if they can pick it up. And they're going to start it up here. Can the side of Imagine Wagons stop them? They're certainly gonna try here. We do see Wild Goose Chase coming in, but the damage he's taking from the Ezreal poke right off the bat, that is a Frostborn Gauntlet completed, as well as the Mira mana fully stacked here, and Arizona is starting to hurt. Just the poke alone stopped the entire engages. Wild Goose Chase not able to go in, and if he can't go in, nobody else wants to either. He's the one with the AoE stun. Will not be enough. And that's going to be Mountain Drake going the way of Glacial Omen. They've not lost really anybody in the last little while, and they're going to be that much tankier, that much more difficult to break down past that shield, past the increased resistances. And in the last fight, we did see Willowhaven the only one to go down, but he was caught out initially, and that's the support. Yes, he's tanky. Yes, he has the Gargoyle Stoneplate. He's got Ninja Tabbies to negate some damage, but he is also one of the poorest member on his team. 5,900 gold. If he can survive getting collapsed on by 3-4 people like that, that's going to be really bad news for the side of Imagine Wagons, because he's already one of the easier targets to get a hold of. Now he's got a magic shield on top of the Mountain Drake. Mountain Soul shield will be really strong against specifically Wild Goose Chase here, and he has built himself quite a bit of armor as well to negate the rest of the team. And when you take a look at the score lines here, 1-1-1 for the top lane for Zero Zen versus 1-1-2. That top lane has been the most even. Glacial Omen is actually going to start up the Baron right here. And it's going to get melted immediately. Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming down. Granddaddy Jax looking for the attempt, but in the back will not be able to go in. Wild Goose Chase goes in, and now Granddaddy Jax will get destroyed by Zero Zen. The heroic entrance from Willowhaven coming in, but he won't not be able to find everybody. The fight is already over. They're all running away. XX Wolf getting separated from his team. Has to be careful as he's running up the lane. He's going to get found here. The flag and drag is good. Can he shield? Yes, he can. It's going to buy him enough time. He's going to be able to take the lantern and Spenlo once more bailing his team out of the fire here. That is still, however, Granddaddy Jax down a 5v4 push with the Baron buff up, with an extremely fed ADC and mid laner. Ishan 8-0-2 this game on the Cassiopeia. That is absolutely frightening. On Arizona 6-2-5 after a rather rough, rocky start to the game here, has come back really massive. Over 10,000 gold at this point in the game. Only 500 behind Ishan here. You can see the gold leads on the side of Glacial Omen. Almost 10,000 across the team, and especially focused on those carries. If you are the side of Imagine Wagons right now, you kind of have to make a play at those base turrets. You can't just keep letting them shove in here without being punished. A good death sentence onto Chaotic Obsidian, but by the time they pop the shield, he's already out the turret. He's tanky enough, and it's going to be XX Wolf getting shredded, melted. Did not even manage to shield himself, and Spenlo next on that hit list. Monomania going to have to flash himself to safety there. Will be able to do so, but that's going to leave Zero Zen to continue split pushing in the top lane. And suddenly Glacial Omen knocking on the inhibitor turrets there. Now Ishan getting collapsed on by Wild Goose Chase, but it might be a little too late. He's 9-0-5 now, had the Leandries, had the Rylus, and they're going to be able to just turn that around. Absolutely melt the Monomania, not wanting any part of this. Going to protect his KDA for 2-1 right now. Knows that he can't defend this alone, and the Nexus turret's gonna go down here. Zerozan is gonna dive into the back there, get the knock up, and that's gonna be Monomania going down. Does have to be careful, still is tanking up the turret. Will flash himself to safety, and now XX Wolf looking to just get the last kill, but he ran past it. His turret's gonna go down. That's gonna be a 27.5 minute win here for Glacial Omen. Well played from them. And this game just such a mixed bag here. Where do we even start here? It was a good solid draft from the side of Glacial Omen. You could tell exactly what they wanted from the start. Really liked it. They did definitely play to their mid-game advantage, and Ishan playing so well, 9-0-5 here in the laning phase, managed to control Wild Goose Chase, was extremely clean and skilled extremely well. In the bot lane, Arizona and Willowhaven, despite having a bit of a rough early game, and to be fair, it wasn't a 2v2. The bot lane was a 3v3, a 4v4. Everybody just went down there, so it wasn't an isolated lane, and Arizona had a bit of a rough start, but came back 9-2-7, ending that game, pumping out tons of damage in the fight, and that's starting to show why Ezreal is being picked so much, both here in the Coalition League and elsewhere in professional play. Definitely a champion that ADCs will have to look to either pick up or start banning out. And for the side of Imagine Wagons, they just had a very unfortunate disconnect from Granddaddy Jax there. So their early game ended up being a complete wash, not having the support of the jungler, having to play 4v5 for a while. And despite those rough conditions, XX Wolf playing very well in the top lane, able to just go even with Zero Zen, despite a lack of pressure, despite losing out in global gold, still did really well for himself. Wild Goose Chase looking for those ganks, unfortunately just couldn't find anything in the mid game, but split, it was good to see him proactive, good to see that he was still looking, roaming, and helping his team out. And if he had the jungler, I think we would have seen a very different mid-game play out. And in the bot lane, Monomania was winning the bot lane till everybody decided to go crash it and just continue diving them under that turret. So definitely we could see a very different game 2 here, and I'm hoping that the side of Imagine Wagons bounces back. We've seen it before. Last week, they forfeited the first game, lost their second game, played a bonus third game, and we saw them complete just smashing in game 3. We could potentially see that in game 2. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And with that, we are going to head into a short intermission break while we set up for game 2 here, and we'll see all of you in a couple of minutes.